Hello once again, folks. Welcome to another video. Top 5 to arrive. Try to imagine a scenario where you have a very delicate ecosystem, and those who are tasked with taking care of that delicate ecosystem then allow other parties to discharge toxic chemicals into that delicate ecosystem. Now that seems like a ridiculous scenario from any casual observer or an objective observer. If you said that to 99% of people, they'd say, well, that couldn't possibly happen. But that is in fact what is happening here in Ireland. It's incredible. I couldn't believe it when I found out. The Blackwater River, Owen Moor Namoin, in our own language, has recently had a disaster befall it. Approximately 30 miles or 30 kilometers of the river, has been effectively killed. Now, there are multiple agencies currently conducting an investigation as to the source of this chemical spill. It's now been identified as a chemical spill that has killed somewhere in the region of 50,000 fish. This is without question, it's the worst, largest ever pollution incident in the history of the state, to my knowledge at any rate. If anybody knows of a bigger disaster, please let me know. So now, the relevant authorities, the Environmental Protection Agency, they have done their own investigation and they have yet to ascertain who was responsible for this disaster. IFI, the Inland Fisheries Ireland, are doing a separate investigation as far as I know. And there are other bodies involved. The Marine Institute is involved at some level, and several state bodies are involved in the investigation, and they've yet to find the culprit, so to speak. Now, the EPA have given a preliminary sort of report on the matter, and they have pointed out that they cannot find those responsible yet. Hopefully they will at some point. But they have investigated some companies, and they have found one company in particular in the region who have exceeded the allowable limits. But bear this in mind, they have an allowable limit of chlorine that they're allowed, or sorry, not chlorine, but ammonia, which is a highly toxic chemical. They have exceeded the allowable limit of ammonia that they're allowed to put into the river. They're allowed to discharge a certain amount of ammonia into the river, and they have on this occasion exceeded that amount by 52 times. Think about that. In the first place, they're allowed to put ammonia into a protected environment, but they've exceeded that by 52 times. They've also exceeded the levels of other chemicals that they're discharging into the river. Now, the EPA say there is no causal link between that particular company's emissions and the most recent fish kill. Personally, I find that incredible. Anyway, this is an unmitigated disaster from start to finish. And let's hope that somebody is ultimately found responsible. But even in the event that they are found responsible, if they're prosecuted by Inland Fisheries Ireland, the maximum fine apparently is €5,000. Consider that. You can effectively kill 30 kilometres of a river, not just the fish but all the other denizens of the river, and if you're prosecuted by IFI you only get a €5,000 fine. There's something seriously amiss here. I did a small bit of research on various governments and government bodies around the world who deal with pollution incidents. The Swedish model. Apparently in Sweden, if you pollute a waterway and you're found to be responsible, you will then be taken to court, and if you're found guilty of the offence, you will give the rest of your life possibly paying back for the damage that has been done to that waterway. Now, there's a big difference between that and €5,000 fine. Because a €5,000 fine for a company like the one I've described is very small money, small change. They'd spend that on entertaining a couple of dinner guests. So it's a ridiculous situation whereby these people can poison waterways and effectively walk away from it. And the locals then have to pick up the pieces. Today is the 10th of September 2025. I'm going to Mallow in County Cork to meet some of the local anglers, people like myself who are avid anglers, and they were sort of more or less the people that were first on the scene to this disaster, and they're going to tell us about their experiences. So try to digest what I've said so far and let me know what you think about all this in the comments, or if you have any further information. I would appeal to anybody, and I think it would be important for anybody who has any information in respect of this incident on the Blackwater, who knows who's responsible essentially, that they contact the relevant authorities and let them know. Do the right thing. Anyway, I'll leave it there for the time being. I'll see you shortly on the bank of the River Blackwater when I'll be talking to some of the local anglers. Right folks, fáilte roimh a rís Tá an sa a County Corky. I'm here in County Cork for across the border down into County Cork, and I'm here with a group of lads from Mallow. I'm here at the bridge in Mallow, and we're going to talk a bit about this most recent disaster that befell the river here behind me. Shocking to say the least of it. It's hard to actually put into words, so I'm hoping that the lads that are here will be able to do it better than I can. So I have here three gentlemen whom I went recently to Poland with, and two other men. This is Kevin here, we have buddy Dahi here, also known as Davy Welsh. We have Sean here, John, and come on, tell me. Shane, right. Okay. And we're here at the bridge in Mallow. My brain isn't working like it used to, lads. Bear in mind. I just want to talk to John here. John, how long have you been a member of the clubs local here? How long have you been fishing the river essentially?
Oh, 35 years.
35 years?
Yeah.
And tell me, has there ever been an incident like this before? We're talking about how much of the river has actually been damaged.
Well, starting from below Roskeen Bridge and all the way down below Killavullen Bridge, you're looking at over 30 kilometres of river that has been affected by this fish kill.
Right. And what estimates are there on the number of fish that have been killed?
We are estimating between 40 and 50,000 easily.
Really?
Yeah.
That has to be the biggest fish kill ever in this country.
It is, without doubt. There's no record of anything. 5,000 seems to be the most, unfortunately.
So anything up to 50,000 fish or more have been killed. That's in trout, salmon and other species.
Some dace, roach, eels. We don't know about the insect life in the river or the freshwater mussel that's also in the Blackwater here.
That's a protected species, isn't it?
Yeah,
and
under
you have the
EU.
lamprey as well, don't you? You have.
We do, not as popular, but they are in the river.
Right, okay. And has anybody made any study, I know it's a kind of early days in the sense, but has anybody made any study of, we'd say, other species besides fish that have been affected by this chemical spill? We know now it's a chemical spill.
Not to our knowledge at the moment.
Yeah. So we don't know about the otters, for instance, or the bird life or any of that kind of thing?
No, not at the moment.
Right, okay. Right, Kevin, I'll just go over to Kevin here. Kevin, you're a long-time member of the club here, aren't you?
Yeah, 70 years.
70 years?
Yeah.
My God, that's a long, long time.
Yeah, it is, since I was that height.
And this is unprecedented. You've never heard anything like this.
Well, no,
either.
we did have, about 30 years ago, 2 fish kills. One from the sugar company, which no longer exists.
Yeah.
And we had one up a tributary where some fella backed in a spreader and dumped the load and killed.
Right.
And for now,
Yeah.
tributary of the Blackwater.
But this most recent event.
Oh, this is unprecedented.
Like, I mean, I can't even possibly imagine myself the effect that this would have had, would say, on me had I been, like, I've fished the Blackwater maybe a dozen times in my life, okay? But I would be a regular fisher, as you probably know. I
Yes.
fished the shore all my life. And I cannot even envisage or possibly imagine the effect that that would have had on me. So can you kind of give me some idea how it's actually impacted on you as a person, as outside of the river itself?
Yeah, very much. My grandfather fished this river. My father fished it up to 85 years of age. Myself and my brother, our family have been fishing all our lives.
All our lives, yeah.
And since I was going to national school, I used to run home, get the rod and the lunch, and off for the day. So it's part of my life. You know? So, and as I say, I might not get to fish for the rest of my days now because it'll take so long.
That's absolutely shocking, isn't it?
It is shocking, is right.
Absolutely, it's unbelievable. Dahi, I'll just turn to you there for a second. How long have you been fishing here locally?
Well, I suppose I'm a Donald man, proud Donald man, local, all the same, only a few miles. But my fishing began in Donald, the Arbeg, which to me, is, I suppose, when we were all very young, we look at the river and it's colossal.
Right.
And my coming into Mallow, I suppose, as a younger lad, you would come in and look at the Blackwater and it was like the Danube, you know, it was just the biggest river ever. But then I suppose I moved to Mallow, spent 10 years, got involved with the Salmon Club, heavily involved. Absolutely, I'd fish in the morning, I'd be out 5 o'clock in the morning salmon fishing. I'd be coming home in the evening, I'd stop off salmon fishing, I'd go home and have my dinner, nip out as soon as I could, go salmon fishing. And then later I got involved with the last 5 or 6 years there, I suppose I took up the trout fishing in earnest since I was my youth.
Yeah.
And just really got into it, got a passion for it, and got into committee this year with the boys. Like massive thing here was the what you call it, the clubs there. Your captain, Sean, what you call that again?
The Home Nations.
The Home Nations was on, and the fishing was incredible. Unfortunately, I was away for it, but I would have loved to have been here. And then, like, I suppose for me here, this is the closest I've been to the river since this, because I was actually on holidays with my kids the first week. The second week I was away in Germany, and I actually feel my heart is kind of beating a little bit more since I came down this close to the river, because I couldn't bring myself to come down, and that's sad in itself. And listening to Kevin and the history, and
it's shocking.
I mean, if a man at Kevin's age, you know, a lifetime, a family history of fishing this river, and he's talking about not fishing it again, that's
absolutely
just
unbelievable.
Devastating, really. You know, it's really, really sad.
Unbelievable.
And like myself, there, know, like, I mean, I suppose we'll all, I think as all anglers would, we go fishing for ourselves a lot of the time. We get away, it's our peace, it's where it's a tranquil place for us, and I explain it to other people. And the only other two people I really fish with is yourself, George, or Shane, when I'm out. And I just love it. I would have fished with Damien a bit now in the lakes and stuff like that a couple of years ago, but the river for me now, since like, I just love coming to the river. It's the peace of mind. What stopped me coming to the river here was, other than the obvious fish kill, was that I want to come to the river with a rod in my hand to get that peace, to have a look around, to watch a salmon passing by. You know, to watch, you'll see obviously the kingfishers, which I love seeing, and you'll obviously see the otters and the more normal. But to see the kingfishers is a bit rare. And like, will we see them in the river again? It's devastating. And we know that there is, people are aware of things happening, right? That we can't particularly talk about, but we are aware of what's going on and the devastation it's having. And I suppose a thought came to my mind today, like, you know, just one kind of pertinent thing. If you're caught drink driving, oh God forbid, and somebody might ask you, are we over the limit? You might say you were over the limit by something. But one thing that we're aware of, and we've read it, and it's been in multiple publications, 52 times over the limit of anything.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, there's a limit put on something for a reason.
Yeah.
And if you're over that limit by 52 times, and that's just on one scenario at one time, which could potentially have been much worse a day before, day after, who knows?
And how many other times has it been done without people's knowledge?
Exactly.
In higher water.
And like, that is off the scale.
Absolutely.
Frightening.
Absolutely.
Frightening.
Yeah.
So.
Now, second. I've been fishing all my life, as you all know. Anyone who watches this channel will know I've been fishing all my life, and I'm as passionate about it as I think as anybody. But the next man I'm going to talk to, I've only had a relatively short experience of him over in Poland. I've never seen a man with such a passion for angling as the next man I'm going to talk to here. Sean.
Hi George, how are you?
How are you getting on, Sean?
Not too bad.
I can see, having spoken, like I said, when I met you out in Poland, it was remarkable, the amount. you exude a passion for it that I've never seen in anybody else. So this must be devastating for you, being it's your home water. So
It's absolutely devastating, George. I was brought down here. I'm fishing over 50 years. Brought down as a young fella, throwing fingerlings into the river here.
Yeah.
And with Kevin and his dad and his brother, and absolutely soul destroying for me. And especially this year, I was a very proud moment for me. This year, being captain of the Irish team that won the home nations here in this event. But this, I've never seen anything like this. But
how do you process it, Sean? I mean, like it's a month now, isn't it?
It's a month now since the event, but the first day Kevin rang me there and we had a chat about a few fish killed, and that's all I thought. I was talking to an IFI officer and he said there was 4 fish killed here at Mallowbridge.
Right.
And myself, Kieran Fitzgerald, secretary or the club, and I rang him, come down and have a look. I rang Shane, come down and have a look. And this short section here behind us, we pulled 450 trout out.
My God.
In less than an hour, and the two of us just looked at each other and shook our heads. Our heads were down.
My God.
And it just absolutely broke my heart.
I believe I've spoken to a couple of other people here and there about this, and like the shocking effect that it's had on people. And there are reports of actually men who've been involved with the fishing here down through the years actually crying on the bank of the river. It's had such an effect on them.
It's unbelievable. Like, soul destroying, George.
Soul destroying.
It would knock you for 6. Like.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, like most of us here spent the week walking the river here up as far. I personally found fish up as far as the mouth of the Glen River, which is just below Diallo. Now, what I noticed personally about this river is I was fishing on the Sunday up here, just above the bridge at the island, and I fished up along, and I was catching perfectly healthy fish.
Okay. And
Monday then come down, and it was just like a graveyard of fish. That's just the only way I can describe it. A graveyard of fish. And for someone to come out and say it was a fungal infection.
Yeah.
It
didn't make any sense.
No, I didn't. Like we knew straight away.
I mean, we had low water on the shore, possibly a lot lower than you'd even have here, and there was no sign of any fungal infection.
And during our walk in Din George, we actually walked we walked as far as Bantier Bridge.
Right.
And but what we noticed, I started taking the temperature of the main river, which was around 19-20 degrees at the time.
Okay.
And the temperature of the tributaries of the river, which the fish are running to actually escape the main river, was 22-23 degrees.
Right.
And we still had people coming out saying that it was due to low water, high temperatures. Why would a fish leave a main river at 19-20 degrees and run a tributary?
Yeah.
Like, this doesn't make sense.
No, it
doesn't make any sense at all. No.
Okay, Sean, thanks for that. And one second now. This is a new camera, so it's taken me a little while to get used to it. Okay, I'm now going to turn to Shane here. Shane, again, I was in Poland with Shane, and Shane, again, is a very passionate angler, exudes the same sort of thing as Sean. It's incredible to see. Shane, your response or your reaction to this whole thing? I know it's hard to put in a few sentences, but...
Well, I suppose initially I did not think it was serious as what it was. In hindsight, obviously it was a lot worse than what it was. Or what
you thought it might be.
What I thought it might be. So I didn't think much of it when Kevin raised the alarm saying that there was a few dead fish. We thought it was due to conditions like you would expect. You see some dead fish sometimes.
Yeah.
But until we came down that evening and we saw the bones of 400 fish pulled out in the space of 200 meters, in a short space of time as well, like less than an hour.
Yeah.
It got to a stage as well as the week went along. It almost was like a very surreal feeling, like, is it actually happening? Are the fish actually dead? Until we came to the point we came out on the following Thursday night, ourselves and Lumbertstown and Killavullen Club all together started collecting the fish. Us alone between the Castle Strand down below and up as far as Longfields, we pulled out, I think, 3,500 fish.
My God, that's shocking.
And there was a number of peel, salmon par, all taken out in that space of time. I suppose from the point of view, with a lot of people who do go fishing, it's therapeutic for them, like you mentioned earlier on about the whole aspect of mental health.
Yes.
The impact from that won't be seen initially.
Yeah.
It'll be driven further down the line. It's when certain like from our aspect, from us as a club, we hold the ITFA Munster qualifier for the Nationals each year.
Yes.
It looks like that we're not going to be able to hold that this year, so that's something we're going to miss out on, which has been hosted for the previous 20 years.
Yes.
Do you know?
And that's just one thing.
That's just one thing, and it's not even that. It's like the whole aspect of, you know, the fish that are in the water. What's going to be done to protect that stock?
Yeah.
Is there going to be like a restocking program by the government bodies going to be involved to help protect that? Because if this is left to its own natural recovery process, it could take 10 or 12 years.
It could take more. Yeah.
You know, more.
Yeah.
And you don't know either, like, how that is going to affect other animals and fauna that feed off it. Like we had a discussion earlier on by herons, but not even herons, like kingfishers.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know?
Yeah.
It is still surreal that it has happened, because you're down here, you're looking at the river, you look at that river, and it's as if nothing. It's a river.
It looks normal.
It looks normal.
Yeah.
But yet underneath the surface, it's
it's
non-existent almost, like, you know.
The river is effectively dead.
It is dead, but it's not even that. Like, it's going back to the point where clubs, how is this going to affect clubs in the long run?
Yeah.
If there's not fish in the river, do you know, are people going to still fish? Will they be members of the club? You know, the knock-on effect to that then again is like
the
survival of the culture as well.
Absolutely,
like, you know?
yeah, because it's not just about the fish, it's about the people.
Yeah.
And there's a whole culture around fishing, as you rightly point out, you know. And I in my introduction to this video, I sort of made a point that a lot of people don't have a connection to the river like we'll say we do.
No.
And like they see the report, okay, a big fish kill on the Blackwater, and it's a headline today, and then they move on to the next headline tomorrow, and it's essentially gone out of sight. So it's up to people like ourselves who are passionate about this, and who, like, for me, fishing, like people say, oh, you're into fishing. It's not just that. Like, I eat, live, and sleep this stuff. When I'm not fishing, I'm either talking about it, I'm tying flies, or it's a whole way of life for me. So, like, for something like this to happen, it's just beyond unbelievable. So what we'll do now, lads, we'll leave that just for the time being, and I'll talk to you again in a minute. So the current state of affairs, as I understand it, going by the media and the TV stations, etc., is that there's an investigation ongoing. There's a few statutory bodies investigating this huge, devastating incident on the Blackwater. Nobody has been found responsible so far, although there are a few. There is quite a bit of speculation about that. But I'm going to go back now to Sean, and he's going to tell me about what it was like when he first found out and discovered what was going on here. So Sean, you were one of the first people on site, so to speak, and can you kind of describe what you saw in terms of when you saw the fish themselves? What kind of condition were they in, and what was happening?
The first thing that I noticed was their eyes were starting to explode. And when I actually walked into the water, just to kind of stand over them to actually look at them, I actually see an eye actually pop off a throat live in the water.
That's unbelievable.
Oh, unbelievable! And you see the damage to the scales were what I would describe as burnt.
Right. That would be sort of consistent with what we were being led to believe. Ammonia. Ammonia is a burning agent, isn't it?
This is what I thought as well. And I know they were saying it was a fungal disease, but we knew straight away it wasn't. Like that's not an issue as far as there's a lot of misinformation put out there.
Yeah.
But what I also noticed about a lot of the fish were tailing down the river.
Right.
So that was telling me it started upriver.
Okay.
And what I noticed is their eyes were gone. They were blind.
Yeah.
And they were starting to get marks on their backs and tails and fins.
Right. So they died agonising deaths, Sean.
Yeah, what I think happened actually, they tailed down the river blind because they didn't know where they were going.
Yeah.
Their gills were damaged, so they're struggling to breathe, so they couldn't fight the current.
Right.
And
they got washed away
effectively. Got washed away with the current, yeah.
Right.
But so then our next step was, and most of us did it here, a lot of club members did it, we actually walked the banks of the river.
Right.
And what we found then was the fish were escaping up the tributaries if they could, if there was a tributary near them, and if they didn't, they were dying.
Right.
So the highest tributary that we have here that we found fish in was the Small Arbeg, which is just above Ruskeen Bridge.
Right.
So we walked this up here then. So we found fish, dead fish the whole ways up as far as Clonmene, and we crossed the river, went up then, and the highest point that we found fish dead on was actually the mouth of the Glen River.
The mouth of the Glen River.
Which
now,
is,
I'm not familiar with the topography here local. We'll say the mouth of the Glen River, is there any, where's the nearest town?
the nearest town, village would be Bantier, and you have Kanturk on the other side.
Right, and how far away are those towns or villages from the site you're talking about?
Kanturk might be 3 miles, 3 miles, couple of miles, and it wouldn't be more than that.
So you could speculate if the incident had actually emanated from, we'll say, the Kanturk area, that the fish had backed down, we'll say, from there, away from it. Assuming that's the case.
This would be my conclusion, that the fish actually tailed away from the discharge, tailed down the river, and as they were discharging, their gills, their eye, everything was getting damaged in the fish.
Right. So when you talk about this particular place you're talking about, are there many industries located north of that, so to speak, upstream of that particular point?
Well, there'd be nothing as far as I'm aware of on the Glen River, but on the other side you have the Yallow River, and we have a number of serial polluters. Right. And there was a big fish kill on that river as well last year.
Right.
Yeah.
And so we have serial polluters here like we have everywhere else around the country, apparently. Yeah, we have them on the shore as well. I'll just go back here to John. Can you tell us, John, how you discovered and your initial response or reaction to what you saw?
I'm still devastated. I haven't got over it.
Right.
Initially we were down here the first night and you could physically see fish floating belly up down the river,
right,
which is such a rare sight for us.
Yeah.
There was so many fish inside in this bit of river here, and now we don't. Hopefully we might have something left, but we won't know till next year.
Right.
Those fish that are left, I witnessed them myself last week off the boardwalk on the other side of the bridge here, and there was fish trying to eat the bottom of the river. You could physically see them trying to eat.
And they couldn't see to eat.
We don't know if they were blind, but
yeah,
I don't think those fish are going to survive the winter.
Of course not.
So next year we could have 0 fish in the river.
Right. Okay. Kevin, just come back to you again. There is a certain amount of speculation around. Everyone is looking, of course, naturally enough, for a cause or looking for somebody to blame, essentially, right? There are a few names being mentioned. We, obviously, for legal reasons, we can't say anything and that, but have you heard any of this speculation around?
I have. And what amazes me is that we have 6 bodies that are responsible for water quality.
Yeah.
And surely, I mean, we are amateurs and we can see what's happening on our waterways.
Yeah.
They're being turned into sewers.
Yes.
And surely these bodies that are paid by the government to protect our environment must know.
Yeah.
I mean, they have the resources to do the testing.
And the expertise, of
and
course.
the expertise.
Yeah.
And they have the license to go into these places where we wouldn't have, you know. And can I just say further, I firmly believe that only for the tributaries, the figures would be
even higher,
way higher, thousands and thousands and more.
Yeah.
Because we saw so many thousand up the Clyde. They ran for the Glen River, the Barbeg and the Finnow. So if we had in those tributaries, to be a total wipeout.
Yeah.
And what's back in the river now, the small amount that's back, have tailed back from these tributaries. So
shocking.
It's shocking. Yeah.
Now, what I can tell you on my own, and it's a matter of public record as well, is that Irish Water, or Uisce Éireann, are a state body effectively tasked with caring for our waterways. Since they've been appointed, they have received more than 6 billion euros in taxpayers' money, and our waterways are worse than ever since they were appointed. So that would seem to me, and again, I'm an amateur, I don't know much, all I can do is go according to my feelings on this. If you spent 6 billion on something and you didn't get anything out of it, only a worse situation, I think there's a very bad deal. And that's just Irish Water. The IFI, There's a lot of bad press around the IFI. I've hardly ever met an angler that had anything positive to say about the IFI. The EPA, I can't say anything about them. I don't know a whole lot about them. They make loads of reports and all the rest of it, but they don't seem to have much in the way of jaw teeth when it comes to prosecuting or taking on these people and making them pay. I mean, one company here locally has been found to have, it's effectively a serial polluter, and it's I can't remember the name of the phosphate, but there's a particular phosphate they're putting into the river. They've exceeded the amount of that by 2.5 times. And on one occasion here that we know of, they exceeded the allowable ammonia level by 52 times. And it's incredible that these people can do this, and there doesn't seem to be any sanction put on them. And in the event that they are sanctioned, it's minimal at best. I think the amount you're talking about is €5,000 maximum. This needs to be tidied up in a big way. I'll just ask Dahi here on that subject what he'd make of that kind of carry on.
I suppose my mindset was on something else there, Josh. I just spit out what I have to say, right?
Okay, yeah.
I suppose when I was young fella, all my family had been to hunting, shooting traditionally, you know.
Yeah.
And I was kind of said to us, water, land, and sea. And I know I've discussed with you about the whole land thing, but you know, if you go to shooting, you go to hunting. If you look around now, I remember back in the day when I was young fella, you'd always hear shots going off. There was game, those fellas all shooting because there was game there to shoot.
Yes.
And there's hardly a rabbit there now. There's hardly a rabbit in the country now. And
been
there's
wiped
something
out as
seriously
well,
going on. And there was Mixie. I don't know the name of the new one there now, but that's wiped out.
RHD it's called.
RHD, yeah. Wipeout.
Yeah.
You think to the sea. I've gone sea fishing with Shane. We've been casting and nights, and we're going, Jesus almighty, where's all the fish gone?
Yeah.
You know, there's something seriously wrong. And what's frightening me, the obvious thing here is the river, because we
Yes.
can't get food from the river if you ever needed to, because they were the three sources traditionally.
Of course.
And if you look to Loch Ness is shocking. If you look to other lakes and what's going on inside them, it's shocking. But like, what has struck me here now as well is, look how fast this happened. Look how fast they can wipe out a river.
Yeah.
They chose to, or you know,
Overnight,
if there was
virtually.
Yeah, gone, like devastation. And you know, and obviously it's affecting animals and wildlife and everything besides that, as we've discussed. But I suppose the other thing that I'd be saying, I'd be kind of making a plea to people out there, that if anybody, surely somebody has information, and if you have information, you know, do the right thing, please do the right thing, because there's people walking dogs, there's people going swimming, there's people kayaking. The local lads are doing great stuff here for the Special Olympic kayakers. It's amazing stuff, really. And we have obviously we're talking about fishing, but like, come on, contact the IFI, do something, help us out, help everybody out in this community, because it is our community. That's our river. You know?
Absolutely.
That's our life.
Absolutely.
You know, lad in it.
Just a brief question. I'll ask you all in turn, and if you could just give me a few seconds on it is all. And of course, it's going to be a very difficult question for any of you to answer, but if you can just respond as you can, best you can. Shane, the future. What's going to happen here? What is the future here for the river and for fishing? I know it's very difficult to answer. It's very difficult to speculate.
It will be the river will recover naturally, but saying that's going to be a long time. There needs to be intervention in the sense of restocking or reopening the hatchery, which logically is the best way to go forward. But in the short term, non-existent.
Right.
You might as well be fishing in the bathtub in your house, like with nothing in it.
Okay,
it's
Shane.
gone that way.
Sean, same question.
For me, we have to intervene. We've been restocking this river since the early 40s.
Yeah.
Kevin has records there to prove that. Even as a young fellow, I was brought out when they were doing the restocking. There's a hatchery just behind us here. For me, this hatchery has to be opened, and we need help. We have to get help, because we can't. We're only an amateur group. We're all amateurs here. We're different. On the Blackwater, there's a lot of private fisheries.
Yes.
And they have money behind them. We're all amateurs here. None of us have
just ordinary people.
Yeah, I'm involved in the salmon club as well, and that is set up for the ordinary people the way they can fish. And the trout anglers, we go hand in hand. A lot of us are double members.
Right.
But we need help. We're going to have to get help.
Right.
We're going to have to do it.
Well, I suppose for me, just to be youth, because we have to look down the line. We can't look to the immediate. My two daughters and my son did. They got their bronze badge for casting there last summer. My son went tying with Sean. Sean puts on the fly tying classes there during the winter.
Yeah.
And we're just trying to build up their interest and hope they get into it so I can carry them out with me. You know, that's the dream. But I suppose going back to Shane's point there, I mean, we are everyone desires and wants this river to come back the way it was. But that's dependent on this crack never happening again.
Yeah.
Because we're chasing our tail if it's going to happen again.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
like the vast majority of the fish that are wiped out in this river are brown trout that we fish for predominantly.
Of course.
And it's absolutely,
Yeah.
it's mind blowing and devastating. Really.
Absolutely. John?
Going forward in the future,
Yeah.
hopefully this investigation can be solved.
Right.
And we can come to the bottom of it before we even attempt to do any work.
Yeah.
Because we still don't know to date if that river is safe
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
uh,
For fishing or anything else.
for anything. Yeah.
Right. Kevin, I'll leave the last word to you.
George, I've no doubt that we will get back to fishing. It'll take a bit of time, but with the commitment of the members of Mallet Trout Anglers, I have no doubt that we will strive to have it back in as short a time as possible.
Every effort will be made in any case.
Every effort.
Well,
will be
that
made.
wouldn't be unusual on anglers' part. We've always made the efforts. We're the only ones, it
Yes.
seems to me, that really care about the rivers.
Yes, we're the
And-
unpaid servants of the
Absolutely.
of the rivers.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, I just want to thank you all, lads, for taking the time, and we'll. I don't know. We'll just have to see. I'm kind of devastated myself, having spoken to you all here. It's just, I don't know. Like, it's kind of a surreal kind of a setup here. I'm like I said, I'm not a native of the area here, and I'm completely shocked at what's happened. So.
The best way I could describe it, George, is a death in the family. I think that is the best way to describe it.
I was actually
Yeah.
about to say that because
Yeah.
it was a similar. That's how it felt to me when I heard about it. And let's face it, I'm not as intimately connected to this river as obviously you are, lads. So again, got a mila mahagui.
If I could add, George, just the support from other clubs.
Yes.
Everybody here is aware of it. We want to thank everybody that's helping out the clubs. John and the boys know more about it now than me because I've been aware of
Absolutely.
it, but I just thought of it there now.
Yeah.
And I know down the future we will be relying on help from other people, and we're absolutely going to be very, very grateful for some decisions that have to be made
Okay.
in the coming days and weeks when we find out exactly. And by the time this video goes out, we could have more information again.
Okay.
But I think it's massive to thank people and let them know that, like, we as a committee are trying our best.
Yes.
We're going to make errors and mistakes and do things wrong, but we are going to
Do your
our
best.
heart is in
That's
it
all
to
you
do the
can
best
do.
we can do. So
Okay.
that's all I've got that.
So that's it, folks, from County Cork, from Mallow here. I'm at the bridge in Mallow. As I said, I've spoken to the lads there. I make what you will of it, but I feel sad and depressed. That's all I can say about the whole thing. So that's it, folks, for this video. Got a minute mahagui a reach that's up for Cole Loader. Be me chaint reach live on Cade Roller, Schlang of Oil.